What's up everyone, Eric Rossi, the guy with the eye here. I wanted to make a video update on something that I pretty much did about a week ago, and that was about the Fotodiox Fusion Nikon to Sony Adapter. Now, that got picked up a little bit. Obviously, Jason Lanier, he made the first video. He was one of the one that was pretty much the first adopter with it, because the issue with this whole thing is that no one was talking about it good or bad online, so that's why no one really had any other advice except Jason. And Jason had his Sony a6300 break on him. It fried out when he used the adapter, so a lot of people got scared, and obviously righteously so. But no one else was talking about it. But part of what I do and like what he does is to try and educate and to share experiences with people. So that's why I decided to share my experience as well, obviously with my video. And obviously what came out is that my Sony a7 II, which was only a couple weeks old, also died while using this adapter. Now, Fotodiox pretty much within, I'd say, an hour of this video, Bohos actually reached out to me and wanted to work together on this. And I know he did the same for Jason. And one of the biggest complaints that I hear is that people are worried that if this happens, that they won't help. And Fotodiox hasn't endorsed me or paid me in any way to say this or make this video. I'm making it out of the courtesy of myself. And they have a track record of having great customer service anyway. And they really did do me very well in regards to customer service in this whole situation. And I'll talk about all that in a second, but Bohos reached out and basically said, let's see what we can do. Let's talk it out. Let's share information and see how we can improve this for people. Now, one of the biggest things I'll say, and I want to say it early on in the video because people's retention time to watch is very bad. One of the common connections that Jason Lanier and myself had is when we use the Nikon 105 2.8, the macro lens. When we use this lens on this adapter, this had basically fried it. And Jason and I were talking a little bit, and he kind of, I don't know if he's going to update or do more like he already did, but basically it's the electronics within this lens most likely that kind of killed it. So one of the things is, so my camera was dead. You know, a ton of people were giving information. Thank you so much for all the support down in the comments and everything like that. You know, there was over 100 comments, so thank you for all the advice. And one of the things was, all right, try and do a firmware update. That's how you like restart the camera. But the problem was the camera wasn't viewable to the updater and the installer because it just wasn't working. I had also told Fotodiox that it was basically the red light was freaking out when I had an SD card in the camera. So I tried the SD card out of the camera with different SD cards. I only had 2 batteries to try, and they were both actually dead. I couldn't get them to work, so I was able to get rid of those. So really what was left is, well, did the adapter die? And I did try it on a Sony a6000 of a friend, and the adapter actually wasn't working as well either. Now, the other thing that was left from this whole debacle was, you know, we couldn't troubleshoot the camera. It was pretty much bricked and everything, and they're getting Jason's camera and everything, and they're really going to run tests and everything from what I know. But what did my 105 still work after this? So I have my D750 that I'm going to put on right here, and just to show you that my lens actually didn't die. So I have auto, and let's just see it. So you guys aren't going to see, but you see it's searching for focus. And if I focus on the webcam, it's a little too close. Oh, there we go. And, you know, it's just quick pictures, but the lens does work. The Nikon 105 does work after that whole thing, even though the batteries, the adapter, and the Sony were broken. So the thing that comes back to customer service is they were very receptive to getting all the information, working with Sony and Comlight, because they work with Comlight for this adapter for the Fusion part of it and everything like that. And once again, I just can't say more than enough that they were very willing to help. And Jason Lanier has a much bigger audience than I do. He's got over 140,000 subscribers. You know, I've got almost around 21,000 now. And, you know, the story got picked up and everything like that. And it was just, and I felt like they treated me like they would him. And once again, that was a worry because I wasn't sure about anything. But with the whole situation, they even set up their own support about this adapter if you have any questions or anything, and I just like to point that out. So they commented on my video and Jason's videos that if you have a question about it, email what was it, fusionsupport@fotodiox.com. So check that out if you have any questions about it, if you're worried about something, and they will help you out. I really believe that as well. Once again, I don't have a large of reach as Jason does at times, but I feel like they would help you out as well. But once again, the only common connection was that so far is that we both use this 105mm lens, you know, and Fotodiox is saying that we're pretty much the only two that are having this issues. But once again, I don't know if that's the case. I'm sure they tested out a lot of things, but it still seems something was working. And a good friend of the channel, good friend of myself, Sharky James of the Petapixel Photography Podcast, put it in a good way, is that we were the early adopters and we took the risk for it. And this is what happens with a lot of things. Now, should this adapter have been tested more? Yes, I completely agree 100%. And what they did is actually they sent him a new adapter and they compensated him for his A6300. And Jason went to shoot again. Didn't work the best still. There are still a lot of kinks to work out with this. But like in my video, the Tamron 15-30 seemed to be working phenomenally. The 24 was a bit glitchy, but when I tried the 105 is when everything went wrong. So don't do the 105. Fotodiox, they did try and rectify the situation, and they did so very well. I was actually able to return my camera because it was still so new. So they didn't have to pay for it, even though they greatly offered to do so. But they did compensate me for the adapter and everything that went wrong with that. So they did everything to make it right. So just wanted to say that as well and thank them for being very patient with this whole situation, as this is a big deal, because if this Fusion adapter works in the future, that's one of the biggest things. And I hear that the way that they're going to do firmware updates is through Sony. I think they can confirm that. They could talk about that ad nauseum if they want. And I think that's how that's going to work. As of right now, I'm not going to do another shoot with this. I don't have this anymore. My Sony is gone as well. And I think I'm going another route at this time. But in the future, as this thing still gets tweaked and adapted more, I think it's going to be a very cool thing, whoever can really do it first. So once again, thank you, Fotodiox, for really helping in the situation. And once again, I really feel that you guys and girls at home, if this happens to you, they will be very receptive into seeing what is wrong, and they will try and work it out with you because they want it to work as well. They make a lot of stuff, most of it being very good. I've bought some adapters and everything like that before, and I've never had an issue. This was the big one. This was the big problem. So that's my update. A little long-winded, I know. But once again, Jason shot again, and he was using a couple lenses, and he used the A6000, and it worked for him. It didn't break his cameras or anything like that. He even put it on his one A7S or A7R2 or whatever, and it worked without a hitch, without breaking a camera for that as well. So once again, email that Fusion support if you have any questions or concerns about your adapter. But it seems like it works, glitchy for the most part, but it works. But just don't use the 105 macro lens. That seemed to kill it. But once again, it didn't break my lens or anything like that. This is still working perfectly, snappy and everything like that. So keep that in mind as well. Thank you so much for watching. Eric Rossi, the guy with the eye. And this is my long-winded update of the situation, what happened with the Fusion adapter and Fotodiox really helping out and showing great customer service. Once again, they didn't tell me to say this. I offered to make this video because I felt it was right to do by them, to at least give them that in this situation. So thank you guys once again. Bohos, thank you again for being so receptive and you know, helping within the entire situation. Don't be worried. They will help you out as well. I really do feel that way. Thank you so much. If you have any other questions or comments, leave those down below. As always, I do my best to answer everyone and everything in the situation. We did our best to really break down the camera to see if we can fix it and do some kind of reset, but nothing worked. Battery, SD card, firmware update, or anything like that, because it was bricked and it really wasn't working. Thank you so much for watching. As always, keep an eye out.